All right, let's dive into one of the oldest, and honestly, one of the most profound questions ever asked. This comes from the ancient Indian epic, the Mahabharata, and it's a really simple question, but it challenges you, it challenges all of us to look at the world and pinpoint the single most astonishing thing in it.
So here it is. What is the greatest wonder? I mean, really think about it for a second. What's the first thing that pops into your head? The question itself is so simple, right? But the traditional answer, well, that's resonated for thousands of years.
And this isn't some new age pop philosophy question either. No, we're digging into a piece of wisdom that's at least 3,000 years old. It's a foundational question from ancient Indian texts, something that scholars and storytellers have been wrestling with for countless generations. And for all that time, believe it or not, there's been a pretty definitive answer. It was given by the hero Yudhishthira, and his answer was this: every day, living beings see others die, yet each one lives as though they will live forever.
Wow. I mean, just let that sink in. 3,000 years. For 3 millennia, this has been the accepted answer. The sheer historical weight of that is just staggering, isn't it? It really points to some deep, universal truth about who we are, about the human condition.
So what this classic answer is really saying is that the greatest wonder is a kind of profound psychological blind spot we all have. It suggests that our ability to just ignore the one absolute certainty of life, death, is so astonishing that that is the greatest wonder of them all, our own denial.
Okay, but what if that's not the whole story? What if that's not the real answer? The material we're looking at here proposes a huge pivot, a total reframing of the entire question. It suggests there's something else, a wonder that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
So yeah, what if this 3,000-year-old answer, as profound as it is, actually missed something? Something, quieter, but way more powerful.
Well, the source we're exploring proposes a new answer, and it centers on one single figure: the mother. And look, this is not a metaphor. It's meant in a very real, very literal sense. We're talking about the woman who understands, deep down, that childbirth could actually cost her her life, and she does it anyway.
And when you put these two ideas side by side, the contrast is just stark. The classical wonder, right? That's all about denial of death. It's a trick of the mind. But this deeper wonder, this is about full awareness of death. It's not about living as if you're immortal. It's about acting in spite of your mortality. See the difference? One is a defense mechanism. The other is a conscious, powerful choice. Now, this single, incredibly quiet choice, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. The argument here is that it has these absolutely staggering consequences that, believe it or not, form the very foundation of, everything.
To really get the gravity of this, you have to think about the most fundamental drive in all of biology. I'm talking about self-preservation. Every single living thing is hardwired to protect its own life above all else. It's rule number 1. And yet, this choice, this act, willingly overrides that most primary, most basic instinct. And what's so wild is that this act, it exists totally outside of all the systems we've built. It wasn't designed by some grand philosophy or mandated by a religion. You can't write an algorithm for it. It just happens, often in pain, with zero ceremony, and it has happened billions and billions of times.
And then, to really show us the stakes, the source poses this absolutely devastating thought experiment. Just think about it. What happens the moment this choice stops being made? What happens when every mother everywhere at the same time decides, nope, my own life is more important?
The answer is chillingly simple. Everything stops. Not a slow fade, not a gradual decline, an immediate, full stop. The end of the entire human project. Just like that.
Think about what that means. That one single decision is the prerequisite for literally everything that comes after. Every civilization we've ever built, every idea anyone has ever written down, every discovery we've ever made, heck, even the philosopher's ability to ask the original question. All of it, every single thing, is built on the foundation of this quiet, continuous, and courageous choice.
So, all of this brings us to a complete redefinition of the greatest wonder. It's not about criticizing our human blindness anymore. Instead, it's a celebration of something so much bigger. The greatest wonder, then, isn't our blindness to mortality. It's the existence of a love that becomes larger than survival itself, a force that literally transcends the most basic law of all biology.
And to me, that is the truly astonishing part. This is a fundamental force in our world, but you can't describe it with an equation. No model can predict it. We can't really explain it, and yet it shows up every single day, quietly, in hospitals and homes and huts all over the planet, making sure the human story gets to continue.
So this is where our source material leaves us. If this act of love, a love that's bigger than survival, is the greatest wonder that allows everything to keep going, then the next question is, what's the beginning? Where does that come from? That's a question for another time, I think. But it definitely leaves you with a real sense of awe for the quiet wonders that make everything else possible.